For the next 3 days, all eyes will be on the India-US relationship with Prime Minister Modi's 6th visit to the United States in his official capacity. But this one is different. You would have heard this visit to the US being described as historic, as a milestone. That is because this is Prime Minister Modi's first state visit to the US. This is a big deal as state visits are absolutely at the top of the pyramid in terms of diplomatic protocol. To give you a sense of how important this is, the Prime Minister will be only the third Indian leader to be honored with a state visit in the United States. The other two were President S. Radhakrishnan in 1963 and Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in 2009. This is also being called a milestone visit because PM Modi will be addressing a joint session of the US Congress for a second time. There are only a handful of world leaders who have done this, like Winston Churchill and Nelson Mandela, and PM Modi will be the first Indian to address US Congress twice. So why is a state visit considered such a high honor, and how is it different from a regular visit? So, for first, only a head of state can make a state visit. It comprises of various elaborate protocols, including a flight line ceremony, which means the guest is greeted at the tarmac on arrival by the top brass, a 21-gun salute at the White House in the arrival ceremony, a formal state dinner at the White House hosted by the President and First Lady, and an invitation to stay at the US President's guest house, which is the Blair House. Of course, there will be exchange of gifts by both sides. The streets will be lined with flags of both countries. Now, what is going to happen on this visit? That is very, very crucial, because at one point, of course, the honor to Prime Minister Modi is reflective of the ties between the two nations. But there's also going to be a focus on increasing bilateral defense cooperation, an announcement on joint manufacturing, possibly of GE 414 turbofan engines for India. That's for Indian fighters. So there is an expected announcement relating to acquisition of 30 MQ-9B armed drones, a likely Indus-X or enhanced partnership in defense innovation could be formally inaugurated, and a possible announcement on lifting technology exchange curbs. A breakthrough is also expected on semiconductor supply and tech focus on strengthening trade and investment partnership. Various other areas will be talked about: 5G tech, open radio access network, space collaboration. So all of this is on the agenda. But it's important to understand it in a broader context as ties between the two nations are increasingly improving. There is more and more proximity between the India and the US. It comes amidst increased defense cooperation between the two nations. There is also more and more cooperations in international groupings. We're together in a group called the Quad and the I2U2 right now. It's also crucial for the US looking to counter China's growing dominance, and also efforts not just of the US but many nations post-COVID to replace China or to find an alternative to China as a manufacturing hub. Look at the timing as well. The visit comes ahead of crucial elections domestically for both heads, Modi and Biden. So a lot of backdrop and context to this important visit. And we have a superb lineup to take you through what to expect. I'm starting first with Congressman Shri Thanedar. He's from the 13th District of Michigan, joining us live and exclusive on the show. Congressman, thank you so much for speaking with us this evening on Beyond the Headline. Great to have you on. Tell us about why this visit is such a big deal.
Well, this is the biggest democracy meeting the strongest democracy. These two nations, the relationship is growing in space and in defense and technology. Indian Americans are a key part of the American diaspora. So there is a huge excitement in all over the United States in receiving Prime Minister Modi. And my wife and I have been invited by the President of the United States to attend the state dinner at the White House, where I will be joining the Honorable Prime Minister. So this is a great event.
Congressman, congratulations on that very, very exciting invitation to that state dinner. And of course, you'll have a bird's eye view. But give us the wider context of growing India-US ties and the role of Indians in the United States.
Well, Indian Americans are whether it is Google or Microsoft, you have Indian American, scientists, engineers, CEOs in top of the positions in various technology companies. Indians have contributed significantly to the growth of American economy. And, Indian Americans are a critical factor in the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. With that background, both leaders, as you know, are facing elections coming up very soon. And it is very important that Indian Americans are involved in this political process. And that's what is happening. As the United States Congressman of Indian origin, I was born in Karnataka. I grew up and lived in India for 24 years before coming and immigrating to the United States. And I would like to see, United States would like to see a much stronger relationship. India has been, non-aligned for many, many decades. And now it's time for India to put its full trust in a lasting, trusting relationship with the United States of America.
Congressman Thanedar, if I could ask you, from the point of view of the diaspora, it's always about, the relations growing closer. You've talked about it ahead of the elections. But does the diaspora make such an impact? After all, it's a very small percentage of the population. Why is the Indian diaspora being seen as such a powerful political group as well, when this is a very small number in absolute terms and percentage-wise?
Well, Indians make up about 1% of American population. But remember, they pay 6% of United States taxes. So a huge financial successful community and a huge contribution to the growth of American technology businesses. So a lot of the new startup companies are owned, operated by immigrants. So America is a nation of immigrants. And immigrants have come from all over the world to the United States because the United States always honors and welcomes immigrants. And these immigrants, this diversity has made America the greatest nation in the world, the envy of the nation, envy of the world. And the United States is the only superpower. I think India now realizes the United States is the only superpower. Russia has been aggressive against Ukraine. The dictatorial leadership of Russia does not fit well with the great democratic principles that India practices.
You've given me the perfect entry point to my next question, Congressman Thanedar, because from the Indian perspective, we have every right to pursue our own foreign policy vis-a-vis Russia. We have condemned human atrocities, but we are also talking to Russia about oil when we need to, like a lot of European countries. Where do you weigh in on that?
Well, the time has now come to take sides and choose friends. And time has now come to, see who Russia is and then see who China is. Now, China is somewhat aligned with Russia. China is a common threat both to the United States of America as well as to India. India has seen the aggression, the military aggression China has pursued against India. China has practiced unfair labor practices. China has practice unfair trade practices. And it is time for United States and India to come together and fight against not only Russian aggression, but Chinese aggression. And this is another reason why these two countries should find common ground and build a deeper, more trusting, and more long-lasting relationship than what has been done historically.
Okay, what about more United States action against Pakistani aggression? That's the other sort of bugbear, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And a stronger United States-India relationship will be essential from that aspect as well. And
Okay.
United States have spoken, our leaders, our State Department has time and time has commented on the lack of democracy and political instability in Pakistan. United States has commented on Pakistan's ruling party taking actions against the opposition and not allowing a fair and democratic process to conduct. So whenever the time comes, United States have spoken against Pakistan, but really this is the time for capitalize on this historic state visit by the Indian Prime Minister, who remains enormously popular, not only in the Indian American community, but all across America, and we need to stand together. And that's what I expect to see. And when I meet Mr. Modi, I am going to stress upon the need for a much stronger relationship. And as a U.S. congressman of Indian origin, I want to do whatever I can do to help these two countries become the strongest allies.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Congressman Shri Thanedar, speaking with us exclusively there, and especially about the excitement on your invite to the state dinner. Congratulations on that, and we hope to hear from you all about it.
And before that, and also I wanted to say the United States Congress leadership has asked me to escort Mr. Prime Minister Modi to the U.S. Congress when he comes to address the joint session. So that is another honor I am so excited to be able to do. So I am looking forward to take Mr. Modi, escort him to the United States Congress as he gives his historic address to the joint session of Congress.
Yep. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Congressman, for speaking with us today. Congressman Shri Thanedar there. He's going to be escorting Prime Minister Modi to that joint address of Congress. He's going to be at the state dinner, and he sort of set the stage of what we can expect. But